Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to this, and thank you to the media, our partners in the media that are here to help us get the word out and be better able to communicate with the residents of Austin and Travis County. Last night, we experienced record-breaking low temperatures in the Austin area. Our thermometers sank down to the teens, and our feel-like temperatures were in the single digits. The temperature at Austin Camp Mabry reached 16 degrees, which breaks the previous record of 19 degrees that was set in 1944. Yesterday, the National Weather Service upgraded the winter weather advisory to a winter storm warning. So we went from an advisory to a warning, and also the National Weather Service issued a hard freeze warning through Wednesday, January 17th at 10 a.m. So we're under a hard freeze warning through Wednesday, the 17th at 10 o'clock. As we anticipated, the combination of below freezing temperatures and wintry precipitation created potentially dangerous road conditions. But as the city's Transportation and Public Works Director, Richard Mendoza, will share with more detail here in just a few minutes, we're prepared, and we treated about 30 locations all around Austin with a special brine that's designed to prevent ice accumulation. That being said, please, everyone, please continue to avoid all non-essential travel and stay indoors if at all possible. Avoid non-essential travel and stay indoors if you can. We also continue to focus on our most vulnerable populations. Last night, our cold weather overnight shelters welcomed 400 people and 7 dogs, giving them all a warm place to stay during this Arctic blast. County Judge Brown and I visited 2 of those shelters this morning, visited not only with the people that are staffing those shelters and helping our most vulnerable citizens through this cold snap, but also with many of the folks that are temporary residents in those shelters. And I will tell you, and I think the judge would agree with me, things are moving very efficiently, smoothly, and we're taking care of a lot of people under the circumstances. Currently, forecasts call for more record-breaking periods of prolonged sub-freezing temperatures as low as 10 to 15 degrees, with some areas in the region possibly reaching negative wind chills. The lowest wind chills are expected Tuesday morning. If wind chills dip below 0 degrees, the National Weather Service may need the issuance of a wind chill warning, bringing with it an increased risk of hypothermia and frostbite for those exposed to the elements. Again, if you can stay indoors, please do that. Austin Homeland Security and Emergency Management Director Ken Snipes, again, someone you'll hear from in just a minute. He'll talk about how anyone needing access to cold weather shelters can do that, and that way we can help get the information out and keep people from being in a very unsafe situation. For those planning to travel through the Austin airport, the airport remains open and has continued normal operations throughout this weather event. Airport runways are clear, they're safe, and they're in use. However, some flights have been affected due to weather conditions in other parts of the country. Passengers, please stay in touch with the airline that you're flying with for the most up-to-date flight information so that you'll know what it is. And we recommend travelers check road conditions before leaving for the airport, and you should also plan to arrive at least 2.5 hours early for domestic flights and 3 hours early for international flights during this period. Importantly, ERCOT has issued another energy conservation appeal for tomorrow from 6 to 9 in the morning. There's another energy conservation appeal that's been made by ERCOT for tomorrow morning from 6 to 9 in the morning. Remember, and Austin Energy's General Manager Bob Kahn will give you more details in a moment, but remember, ERCOT manages the statewide grid. Austin and Austin Energy is part of that statewide grid, so we have to listen if there's ever going to be some sort of rolling outage or something of that nature to when ERCOT would call those. So when ERCOT calls for conservation measures, we should participate in those. And again, like I say, General Manager Khan will provide more information in just a second. Once again, I encourage everyone to please remember to bookmark and check austintexas.gov/alerts. austintexas.gov/alerts, and tune in to the local news stations for the most up-to-date information. Finally, again, I reiterate, it is very important for people to sign up to get emergency alerts by phone, by text, or email at warncentraltexas.org. warncentraltexas.org. Thank you, and now I'll invite Travis County Judge Andy Brown up to the podium to say a few words.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks again for being here today. I just want to start out thanking the mayor and the entire city staff that's working at these shelters that were open last night. We visited with Greg, a city employee, and Mark, someone who worked at the Montopolis shelter, who's worked there for several years. And from visiting with the folks that were there, sounds like it was warm all night. Things went as desired to be, and from the folks that we talked to that were able to take advantage of those city services, they were very thankful that it was a nice, warm, safe place to be. They had already served them breakfast this morning. They were working on lunch upcoming after our visit. Just want to reiterate that if you can stay home today, and please do so, because the roads, while many of them are passable, we want to make sure that our emergency crews are able to be out there, that we're not causing unnecessary wrecks to cause additional strain on our emergency crews. So if you can, please stay home. Travis County, along with the city, is still treating and monitoring roads. I think we treated a lot of the bridges and overpasses kind of southeast Travis County last night, and still focusing to make sure that those bridges and overpasses are ice-free. We've decided to shut Travis County parks, so you can't go to Hamilton Pool today to swim, just out of the safety of residents, and don't want to create extra burdens there. So until further notice, the Travis County parks are closed. We'll reopen probably when freezing conditions go away. So thank you, Mayor, and I'll turn it over to Ken Snipes, I think.
Yeah, Ken's here.
Okay. All right.
Thank you and good morning. Ken Snipes, Homeland Security and Emergency Management Director. The Emergency Operations Center remains activated. What this means is that all of our staff, along with Travis County's Office of Emergency Management, Travis County Transportation and Natural Resources, the Travis County Sheriff's Office, and representatives from Austin Transportation and Public Works, Human Resources, Police, Fire, EMS, Cap Metro, Public Health, Parks and Recreation, Austin Libraries, Homeless Strategy Office, Development Service, and Austin Energy are here and ready to respond. Others are on standby as well. Right now, our focus is on monitoring the weather impacts that are here in our area. Our priority continues to be the safety of everyone in our community, especially our most vulnerable populations. We are ensuring major roadways have been treated, as you've heard so far, for continued access to our hospitals and access for our emergency responders. Cold weather shelters remain activated. They will be activated through Tuesday morning. Shelter services are available for anyone needing a warm place to spend the night. Registration for overnight shelter is from 5 to 8 p.m. That happens at One Texas Center, located at 505 Barton Springs Road. Transportation to a shelter will be provided after registration. Anyone needing shelter after 8 p.m. can call 311 or 512-974-2000. Again, that's 512-974-2000 to request assistance. Since Saturday, 32 service requests have been submitted to Austin's 311 by residents requesting shelter service. Austin Travis County EMS responded to a handful of calls overnight for cold exposure, and all patients were transported overnight to shelters. We're hearing reports that in some cases, some of these folks are being picked up in near hypothermic, conditions. So we encourage people to consider getting to a shelter early. Please don't wait. When people call for a ride to shelter, in most cases, we're able to pick them up within an hour. And then some people, we're picking them up much faster than that. We want to give a big thank you to the Urban League, the Cap Metro, and Austin 311 for helping to manage this process, as well as folks from the Homeland Security and Emergency Management Office. Sunday night, over 400 people used our cold weather shelters. With prolonged freezing temperatures, the shelters are now operating for 24 hours through Tuesday morning. Anyone not already registered who needs shelter service overnight can register at One Texas Center. We're asking people to please stay indoors and do not venture out unless you absolutely need to. The temperatures and wind chills are low enough to make hypothermia and frostbite a real threat. Please ensure you have provisions for your home and for your families. Gather your supplies for your emergency kits. Please be sensible again about your needs, and make sure you have non-perishable food supplies. Make sure you also have flashlights and batteries in your home, as well as warm blankets. And with that, I will turn it over to Richard Mendoza, Director of Transportation and Public Works.
Thank you, Ken, and good afternoon, everyone. Transportation Public Works crews worked overnight to ensure our roads are safe for our emergency services and other critical services to be able to move around our city safely. Our field staff are working 12-hour shifts, rotating shifts, starting yesterday morning, and are pre-treating our major bridges and overpasses with an anti-icing agent. Our signal crews and technicians are also mobilized to respond to any signal outages, and we continue to monitor these road conditions throughout today. As of this morning, we have no reports of city road closures. We have 12 street and bridge crews mobilized and going out and retreating roads and bridges as needed. We've responded to 9 winter weather related work requests and pre-treated and retreated 36 high priority bridges with over 500 gallons of a brine solution. We've currently had 2 signals in flash for non-weather related purposes. One was crash related, another due to the contractor. I was recently informed that we've restored operations to those signals. This morning we have observed light drizzle in icy conditions, mostly on our elevated roadways. So we continue to urge folks to only travel when needed, and if so, ensure that you drive slowly and leave ample distance between yourself and the car ahead of you. If you do encounter icy conditions on the roadways, remember to maintain speed and avoid sudden braking or acceleration. If you go into a skid, steer in the direction of the skid, but be cautious not to oversteer. Transportation Public Works has also purchased additional backup batteries and backup generators to maintain signal operations as long as possible in the event that we do lose power to those signals. However, if you come across a dark signal, we ask that you treat it as a 4-way stop and know that our signal crews will be responding to restore that signal as soon as possible. So that ends my report, and I'll hand it over to General Manager Bob Kahn with Austin Energy.
Thanks, Richard. Good afternoon, everybody. Bob Kahn, General Manager, Austin Energy. So we're seeing a very few outages across our 437 square mile service territory. We actually are going to set a new winter peak for Austin Energy today, and maybe tomorrow too, and another new one. But our previous peak was 2,630 megawatts, and right now we're hovering at about 2,760. So we'll see how it goes as the weather develops. I want to thank the crews that we have out there from Austin Energy and their support staff to respond to outages in all kinds of weather. This is difficult, dangerous work, and our crews know our community depends on getting power restored as quickly and as safely as possible. So let me talk a little bit about ERCOT Communications. As the mayor said, we've been notified that there's going to be a conservation appeal again, tomorrow morning from 6 to 9. We're looking at record-breaking demand at ERCOT, and low wind is expected, which can cause issues with reliability. Businesses and residents are encouraged to conserve electricity use if safe to do so. For the latest information on the ERCOT grid, visit ERCOT.com. So let me just talk about a few conservation tips. Please lower your thermostats by a few degrees. If you have a fireplace, use it to heat your home instead of cranking up the thermostat. When not in use, remember to close the flue so the cold air doesn't come on in or warm air doesn't escape. And keep your doors and windows closed to minimize the hot air from escaping the home. Do not use the oven to heat your home. Bad idea. You can find more conservation tips at austinenergy.com/winter. Thank you. And I think the mayor was going to pick up.
Thank you, and I thank all the professionals that have reported for us here this morning. A couple of things to remember. We're still in this cold snap, so it's important to keep in mind, we've been reiterating this over and over again, take care of people, pets, plants, and pipes. People, pets, plants, and pipes. And it's not too late if you haven't done certain things on your pipes. The fact that you haven't had a problem, please go ahead. Same thing with plants, but that's a key part of all this. The second strong message is that you should conserve energy, reduce your temperatures by a couple of degrees on your thermostat, and as Bob just pointed out, do the kinds of things where if, for example, you have sunlight coming into the house, open your curtains and drapes so that sunlight, you get that natural heat that's coming in. And on those sides of your house where you don't have that, or your dwelling where you don't have that, close those curtains and drapes so you have less escape of the heat. Do the same thing by keeping doors closed a minimum amount of time so that we don't have heat escaping that way. But please conserve, because we don't want to be in a situation where we don't have the power that we want. And then the final strong message that we want to make is that if you can stay inside and you don't have to leave, please stay inside. It is very, very cold, and it may be deceptive how cold it is, so that you find yourself in a situation where you're reacting to the cold before you know it. So if you can stay indoors, please stay indoors. We are going to open it up for questions that you might have. I want to point out that the people that have spoken to you this morning or this afternoon, we're all available to answer questions, but we also have leadership. The city manager is here with us. We also have leadership from police, fire, and EMS that can answer any questions that you might have. And so with that, I'm happy to open it up for questions.
I want us to start with cold weather shelters. We saw they got activated actually Saturday, a day earlier, rather than just that Sunday and Monday. They're going to Tuesday morning, but are there conversations being had about possibly extending that into Wednesday morning?
Yes, and I'll let, where he is, Ken, you want to answer that? And one of the things that I'll say along those lines is, because they're in rec centers, that typically there would be something going on in those rec centers. But what we're in the process of doing is making some determinations about how that will impact it as we keep these open. And if the decision is made that we will keep them open, which I think is probably where we're headed if we're candid about it, what we'll do is we'll make sure that people get prompt notice, and we will work to get all that notice out to everybody. Ken, you want to add anything?
Yes, sir. I think the mayor said what I was about to say.
What do you agree?
Yes, sir. What I would say is we're going to continue to monitor the weather and make those determinations based on what we're seeing there and the thresholds that we have for opening or closing or holding shelter services over.
And I'm going to sneak in one more.
Sure.
ERCOT's already sent out some guidelines for government agencies. We always talk about, taking the temperature down, things like that. What is the city doing right now with that? I know, preface, it is a holiday today, of course, so usage might be less, but what kind of things are the city doing to kind of, prepare for that, and maybe turning off lights? What does that look like?
Stuart Riley, our person that's over facilities, coordinates with other city departments as far as reducing load.
Yeah, and you make a really good point. You know, today being a holiday, you have a lot of buildings that aren't being
Right.
occupied. And with regard to city buildings, that's also certainly the case. Governmental buildings, and so we know that makes a difference on all of this.
Yeah, and they turn down the lights. They do little things that make a big difference if you have a bunch of big buildings, right? So.
Mr. Kondo, go too far. I have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
we
I
get out
know
of your
that-
way.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
They said ERCOT Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning are gonna be the tightest for us.
Right.
I know that's in ERCOT's hands for the grids, but what is Austin Energy, for the viewers that see this, what is Austin Energy using for resources in case we see outages because of that here?
So, actually, things have been going pretty good. We've had very few weather-related incidents. The biggest thing that's been happening is because of the high demand, some of the circuits get overloaded and a fuse will blow. And we've had a few of those. And within an hour, we replace those. And then we redistribute the power over different lines so the circuits don't get overloaded. But if we get into an EEA event, there's 1, 2, and 3, EEA 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2, ERCOT tightens up as far as telling people to conserve more. If we go to 3, which we're not there, but if that happens and they go into controlled outages and order us to have controlled outages, we've identified about 100 circuits in our service area that do not have critical loads on them. And then we have an algorithm that rotates around the system for about 40 minutes at a time if we have to have controlled outages. And if we would have to have that, which I don't think we will, but you never know, it probably only lasts a few hours because when the wind's not blowing in the morning and the sun's not shining, that's the biggest risk when you might have the conservation, which is why they've said 6 to 9.
I want to add something to that because there are a couple of things that Bob said that sound like somebody that works for Austin Energy. And I don't mean that in a bad way. He knows what's going on, but I want it to be very clear. Part of the reason it makes a difference in the early morning when he mentions things like the sun and the wind is because that is part of the resource that we rely upon in order to provide the energy. And I want people to understand it's not just that because it's earlier in the morning. It's a part of the overall resources. The other aspect of that is that ERCOT, and I want to say this as many times as I can, Austin Energy doesn't make the decision to do the outages. If there's a decision made for there to be outages, that decision will be made by ERCOT, which is the one that is the organization that manages the entire grid. And Austin doesn't get a say in that. If ERCOT determines that we need to have outages because in order to make sure that we are providing energy throughout the grid and maintaining the overall Texas grid, those decisions will have to be made by ERCOT, and then we will be faced with how we're going to address it. And what Bob laid out is really important. We've identified non-critical load areas, and what we will do is to make this where nobody has more burden than someone else in our city. What we will try to do is we will try to roll those outages in such a way that you will not have any one area have more than 40 minutes. 40 minutes is kind of the maximum that we would have. So you would have these kind of rolling prepared outages. But let's be clear. We right now do not anticipate that's going to happen. It is important to be asking these questions because we need to be prepared for it. But what Bob is telling you is we are very well prepared for this. And so far, things are pointing that we're going to be in pretty good shape. But ERCOT may make decisions, and that's one of the reasons we really encourage people, please conserve, because that will be helpful and it may avoid something happening where we need to have those controlled outages that would roll through our city. But again, we do not anticipate that's going to happen. We'll keep people informed. We will continue to do the alerts. That's one of the reasons we ask people to sign up for the alerts, is so that they'll have all of that information. So, thank you.
Speaking of the outages and the alerts, we heard from a couple of viewers who reached out to us saying that they tried to report outages yesterday and they were getting error messages. They called and were transferred to 311. They say they weren't getting updates. Is this anything Austin Energy is aware of? Is this something that you're looking into? Any problems with the system?
I have not heard that, but I will check into it. Okay? Apologize to the viewers if that's happening. It should not be happening.
Jumping off of the question earlier about
Right.
the homeless shelters, not related to Austin Energy.
Oh.
But you can answer it if you want.
Yeah.
There's been a lot more people seeking shelter over the past like 24 hours than normally do.
Yeah.
Is Austin prepared to
Yeah.
provide meals and housing for all
Sure.
of those people?
Yeah.
Are there resources there?
Yes, and in fact, what we've done is we've increased the number of shelters. So, we start with the base, if you will, of essentially 3 shelters. But I'll confirm with you that we're operating now 6 shelters, and those 6 shelters will continue to operate without closure until Wednesday. So on Wednesday, we'll make some determinations about when we will close those. But the point that I'm trying to make is we have monitored that, and we anticipate, for example, where the judge and I went today, one of those shelters, there's still, at least as of this morning, there was some room. Well, actually in both of them, there was still room. And so that's all being monitored. That's one of the reasons that the registration becomes important, is so that we can monitor those. But what we've done is we've upped that number on so far a routine and calculated basis, so that we'll have more of those shelters available. And I anticipate that now that we're going to go into another day of this, I anticipate that we will have more people that will sign up. While we were there, we even talked to people about what happens for those that haven't been there, that are now new coming in, or that leave and then want to come back. And that I will tell you, it's very well organized. But there's a recognition of the need for more, and that's why we're up to the numbers we are.
Regarding possible school closures, have you been in touch with UT or AISD?
Yeah.
When the determination might be made?
One of the things that we do when we have a situation like this is, and we do it in advance of things getting bad or getting worse, is we have routine calls with all of the different groups that you just referenced: city, county, the University of Texas at Austin, ACC, AISD, and we talk about all those different things. The call that you've talked about, what will happen with schools, that'll be made by the superintendent of schools and AISD, but in conjunction with getting reports from the National Weather Service and things of that nature. And I anticipate that call will probably be made mid-afternoon today.
For Austin Fire, I know you guys responded to a few fires yesterday. Do you expect the colder temperatures to be a busy time for you, especially like when it's this cold?
Absolutely, we expect it to be busy. We ran probably a routine number of calls. We'd call it a busy shift yesterday. As the weather remains cold and we have thawing out later in the week, we anticipate additional broken pipe calls and fire protection systems, and so we've up staffed for that, and we're prepared for whatever comes.
How many rollover crashes or accidents were there? Do we know? Injuries, any fatalities overnight?
We're checking.
And if you could say if they were weather related.
Provide that to you later.
There were 4 rollover accidents that I'm aware of since last night at midnight.
Were they weather related, or do you know?
I'm sure if they were weather
Do you know if
related.
there were any fatalities or injuries?
Not that I'm aware of.
And the question goes for you too, is it an expected busy time when it gets colder like this for EMS as well?
We do expect to see an uptick in our volume, particularly as we address the needs of the unhoused community. while I'm up here, just to emphasize as well that hypothermia is very unique in that one of the symptoms of hypothermia is confusion. And so as you get colder, you may not realize that you're experiencing hypothermia, and that's why it is so critical for individuals, if you're outside, to be monitoring yourself and make sure that you're going inside and seeking shelter at an appropriate time.
Great. So with that, we're going to wrap this up. I wanted something I said at the very beginning. We've been at this now long enough that I can confirm something I said might happen later in the day. But I just confirmed that we have 6 shelters that are open, and they're going to be open without closure through Wednesday, January 17th. What that means is on Wednesday, we'll make decisions about when we demobilize or when we change that from being shelters. What I said earlier was that will make a difference with regard to things like after-school programming at those rec centers. So after-school programming is going to be relocated and all other programs canceled. And so we want to go ahead and start getting that information out. We will be encouraging folks that utilize those facilities for those to seek other, explore other options and other sites. That's been communicated here at the EOC, but we'll start getting that information out. But that is something that since I brought it up at the very beginning of this, I wanted to bring it up again. I want to say thank you again to the media that's getting out all this information. As you can see, even as I talk and the judge talks to our residents, we're saying please monitor what's going on those news stations, because it's key for us to be able to get this information out. So I want to say thank you to all of you all that are here. And then once again, I want to say to our residents, conserve energy. Things are going well, but conserve energy if you can. And if you can stay indoors, don't go outside. No need to get on the roads unnecessarily, and no need to be outside if you can stay indoors. So thank you all very much, and I want to thank everybody. Yes, you want to say
Hey, one
something?
other thing, just that we saw, and what we're hearing, looks like the low tonight is, 16? Again, tomorrow night, 17. Just checking the Apple weather right now. If you need a warm place to stay, it's One Texas Center, right? You can go there right now, check in. There's a lot of great city shelters there that'll keep you warm, but it's very, very important to go there. If you need their call, what, 311?
512-974-2000.
From 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. to register.
At One Texas Center.
All right.
And say the number again.
512-974-2000.
Yeah, so if you're in a house situation, try to stay home, try to stay off the roads today. If you're unhoused, super, super important tonight to get to a warm place like the ones that we visited today. Thank you all very much.
Thank you all.